Hey climbers, and welcome back to weekly workout number 7. In the session today, we'll be focusing on two things. First, in our pre-climb training, we'll be doing a push workout. And then after that, we'll be focusing on our weakness on the wall with an anti-style bouldering session. So let's go ahead and talk through this real quick. So first up, we'll have our zone 2 cardio warm-up, and then our flow yoga to open up our ranges of motion. And then our pre-climb training today is going to be a couple push-focused exercises. So this is going to be things like a vertical press variation. Today we can do an incline barbell chest press, a fly variation, which is going to be a cable chest fly for me today. We have a horizontal press. Today I'm going to do bullhorn dips. And then we're going to do a little bit of hypertrophy work and isolation work afterwards, doing tricep cable extensions and then lateral raises. After that, we'll jump on the wall for our anti-style bouldering session. The idea here today is to focus on your weaknesses. If you ever see a boulder when you're walking around the gym where you're just like, that boulder is not for me, this is the day where we really want to lean into those boulders and challenge ourselves to get uncomfortable. This can be due to the wall angle potentially, whether you like overhung or slab, or one kind of is more challenging for you. We want to hop on the one that's more challenging today. It could be things like coordination moves, if that's a weakness for you, or maybe specific hold types. Maybe you're really bad at crimping or you're really bad at pinches. Today, again, is that day that we're going to focus on boulders that highlight our weakness. Then we'll jump off the wall and do a little bit of core work to wrap things up, and then an optional aerobic cool down. Let's jump into it. Okay, now it's time to jump into our strength and hypertrophy session. We're going to focus on heavy compound lifts to start and then do some isolation work afterwards. And we're focusing on 3 types of pressing: a vertical press, a fly, and a horizontal press. So there's a bunch of different variations that you can pick from, but today I'm going to focus on an incline bench press for my vertical press variation first. I'm going to make sure that my bench angle is above 30 degrees to make sure that it is that vertical press variation instead of that horizontal press. So let's go ahead and jump into this first one. One form tip for this vertical press or any sort of bench press is we want to think about creating a lot of stability in our upper back, as that's going to be the platform that we're pressing off of, basically our foundation. And when we have more stability, we have more ability to produce force. So to create stability in this lift, we want to think about pulling our shoulders slightly together, retracting them, and then setting them down and locking in that stiffness in our upper back. And then keeping that position as we press through. We don't want our shoulder blades to basically slide forward in this press. We want to keep everything nice and stiff, maintained, because that stability is going to allow us to produce more force. Okay, next up is our fly variation. I'm going to do cable flies. Quick pro tip for this one: we want to make sure that we're keeping our shoulder down and back again to create more stability so we can produce more force. And we want to think about scooping our elbows together rather than crunching down over the top with an internally rotated shoulder. Okay, next up is a tricep cable extension, not a tricep pushdown. In the tricep cable extension, we're focusing on isolating just the tricep and not including the chest in this movement. With a tricep pushdown, we are including the chest. So let me demo what the difference in those two are. Okay, last exercise to do here are lateral raises. You can do this with dumbbells, but I prefer to do it with cables as you'll be able to keep the tension throughout the entire range of motion. It's a little bit harder with dumbbells as gravity only affects the weight when it's basically completely out at the side rather than down here in the lengthened position. We want a lot of tension in the lengthened position to not only make us strong, but also to help us grow. Okay, that's it for our push training today. Now it's time to jump into our climbing session. As a reminder, today we're doing anti-style boulders. So these are boulders that are typically really hard for you to either problem solve, hard because of a certain hold type, hard because of a certain wall angle, or hard because of a certain type of coordination move. So be sure to pick kind of one anti-style that you want to focus on for the day and limit yourself to trying just that style of boulder for the day. We're not going to use this as a fitness session, so we want to make sure that we're keeping our rest ample between all of our attempts and our boulders to make sure that learning is at the forefront of the session and not fitness. Okay, for my anti-style session today, I'm going to focus on vertical climbs that require two things. One is a lot of patience, and two is a lot of position awareness. So for these, you can't just power through your sequences and really blast through them like you can on some overhung terrain. You need to be a little bit more delicate with all of your body position. So I'm going to focus on that today for my anti-style session. it up for our anti-style bouldering session. I hope you had a lot of failure, because if you did, that means you did the session correctly. The session was meant for us to challenge ourselves in ways that we typically avoid challenging ourselves in climbing. So now it's time to jump into our post-climb training, which today is going to be some core work. So let's dive into it. If you want to add some additional challenge to these toes-to bars, you can try one arm toes-to bar. This is also going to be a great way to improve your stabilizing muscles for the shoulder joint, as this is going to be a huge challenge to keep you from rotating, staying in a stable position so you can bring those toes overhead. Okay, that's it for workout number 7. Just as a quick recap, we started the session off with a push workout, and then we jumped on the wall to focus on anti-style boulders. This was a session where we leaned into our weaknesses. This is either boulders that we typically shy away from, or certain styles that are just tough for us in general. So if you're enjoying these workouts, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or drop into my school community, where you'll have access to pre-written programs, more weekly workouts, and additional courses. I hope to see you there.